Hi there, I'm going to be talking a little bit today about the psychology of learning as it applies to sport. And this is, as you might appreciate, a very important topic. Yeah, so, well, we've heard it said that there's these three types of learning: kinesthetic, auditory, and visual. And kinesthetic learning is, the way I understand it, sort of learning by trial and error, having a goal in mind and then just striving to get there, just through mostly willpower and repetitions. Auditory learning is more logic-based. Might be something that your coach tells you that you then go out and apply. And visual learning has more to do with mimicking what we see. If we see a skater go out and perform a triple salchow, we kind of get a feel of what it looks like. We get a sense that it's possible, and we also get sort of a feeling of the energy expenditure and some aspects of the jump that are not so easy to put into words. The timing also, we might get a sense of from watching. Now, I think that most skaters and coaches nowadays tend to rely too much on the kinesthetic learning method, which involves a lot of repetitions without really building a proper foundation. And as a result of this inferior method of learning, skaters get into bad habits that are very, very difficult to correct, since it's so much easier to learn than it is to unlearn. And the other thing about kinesthetic learning method is that because it involves so many repetitions with technique that is not founded on the knowledge that we built through the years about the best way of doing things, it can lead to pain and injury and frustration. And skaters that rely too much on such a method of learning tend to have short careers because of the wear and tear on the body that the inferior technique causes. If your mind and your willpower and your motivation is stronger than your body, well, you're going to beat yourself up. This tends to be the method that young people use, because young people rely more on their youth and vitality than on their wisdom, right? And on wanting to think about the best way of doing things. When we're young, we just want to go out and do it. We want to go out and achieve. We want to, maybe compete with our peers and make fast progress. And yeah, and also, so we can have some successes in that way just by sheer willpower. And if you land your double flip, then you might not be as open to instruction, because you might think, well, I've done it before, I can do it again. What more do I need to know? I just need to try, and I could do it again. And yeah, okay, you're going to get lucky and you're going to do it again, but to build consistency, to be able to do a jump every time, to be able to center your spins every time, to get to the point where you can do it every time in practice, or almost every time in practice, and with a very high rate of success in your run-throughs and in your competitions, you have to have more than just an experience of trying over and over again and spending a lot of time on the ice beating yourself up and using your willpower. So yeah, we're motivated by seeing other skaters, and it's not only a motivating factor, you know, seeing other skaters doing it, but another aspect of what I would call visual learning is sort of maybe reverse visual learning. We tend to be more motivated and able to dig deeper and expend ourselves better if somebody else is watching us, right? So that's one of the advantages of having a lesson, is that your coach, even if they don't happen to give you the very best advice on the best method of doing something, they still are eyes. And you know, when we have somebody watching us, we tend to rise to the occasion. Also, on a, you know, like you might think, well, an ideal training scenario is to have the rink all to yourself. You can have access to the music whenever you want it. You don't have to worry about watching for other skaters. You make your way around the ice, and yes, but the downside of training in isolation like that is that you don't have the motivating factor of having, you know, a certain energy in the rink where, you know, you're kind of watching each other and motivated by each other. And you know, yeah, I know this phenomenon very well from being involved in figure skating for so long. Now, my last video, my last Moves News video, was on the topic of patience. And if you're going to learn technique, you want to not rely so much on the kinesthetic method. You want to build a solid foundation, build your skills, and rehearse your skills, and humble yourself by going off and back on a daily basis to the very most fundamental aspects of what you're doing. Gliding on that forward-outside takeoff edge to get a sense of the depth and the balance and the position of your axle takeoff without actually doing the axle. So we want to warm up with a certain amount of patience. We want to, on a day-to-day and session-to-session basis, we don't want to just get out on the ice and tear around and start jumping. And we want to build our balance and our sense of method gradually, and on a weekly and monthly and yearly basis also. We want to build a strong foundation and rely more, if you can, if possible, on the auditory. Yeah, it can be auditory, but it's really more than auditory. It's a technique that's based on reasoning, and physics is really, you know, like, to be able to do things, the law that you want to follow is the laws of physics, because those are inviolable. They're the laws that can't be broken, and they govern our motion. They govern rotation and you know, momentum and even energy. And so if you want some kind of foundation, you apply the laws of physics in what you do. And as part of a learning method, we want to get away from fads. I see a lot of fads out there. You know, these tend to you know, be ubiquitous around the world. People use the same methods of learning, and you know, we copy each other a lot, and they're not always the best. So be bold and use your reasoning power to develop methods of learning that involve the building of skills in the correct sequence without getting into bad habits. You're going to be so much better in the long run. You're going to be more consistent, and your skating is going to be more beautiful. Now, so we want to use that that brain power to build our technique, and part of being able to perform in sport or in music or in dance, or you know, and in any discipline that involves using the body in a difficult way, we have to come to grips with what we're doing. We have to know what we're doing. We can't just believe in a certain method. We have to actually apply that method, and that's a step in learning that involves knowing what we're doing, and that this is also something that maybe a coach can help a lot with. You know, your coach, as a coach, you can instruct your student on a particular thing, and you can get a sense that they understand what you're talking about, maybe because it's something that's very obvious. But then when they go out and they perform something, they get it wrong. And so they're not doing what they believe in, or they're just not willing to go out of their comfort zone to try doing things in a different way. And so, yeah, we need to, this is an important thing. And also, you know, just because we learn, we get it, and we make a progress in a particular instance doesn't mean we're going to come back tomorrow and pick up where we left off. We have to, you know, relearn over and over again. We've got to give ourselves reminders over and over again. Most of coaching tends to be reminders. And yeah, a few weeks ago, so I posted a video on Lutz technique, and I even demonstrated my double Lutz. I hadn't done Lutzes in quite a while, and I gave my opinions on this very complicated and difficult jump. And then I demonstrated a few double Lutzes. And somebody in the comments says, well, Gary, you don't believe in supinating on the takeoff of a Lutz, and yet on your Lutzes, it looks like you're supinating on the takeoff. And sure enough, I went back and watched the videos, and yeah, okay, I didn't think I was supinating. It's not a part of my method, and it's certainly not something I think about doing and do on purpose. But yeah, on the takeoff of the Lutz, I am supinating. So in that case, I wasn't doing what I thought I was doing. You know, I was a hypocrite. And so it's not like I would go so far as to recommend supinating on the takeoff of Lutz jumps, but I now know that I'm not going to go around saying, well, don't supinate on your Lutz jump. You know, I can't go around recommending that, knowing that I supinate on my own double Lutz jump. And it's not like my double Lutz is ideal. You know, when I do I used to do good triple Lutzes. You can go on YouTube and find performances of me doing very, very good triple Lutzes. It's not like they were the best in the world, but yeah, well, I thought that I was going right into the rotating cross-legged position from my takeoff, cross-legged position right into that rotating position, but it turns out that my skating foot does glide a little bit past my picking foot in a pronated position on the takeoff of the Lutz. It's a weak position, and But maybe that is the only way of doing LUTs, or maybe it is possible to do it without supinating, and maybe that is the ideal, and it's just a habit that I'm never going to be able to fix. And so thank you to the person who commented on that in the video. It's you know, this channel is quite a learning experience for me as well. Teaching is a learning experience. We learn about ourselves, we learn about technique, and it kind of forces us to be really accurate in the way we analyze things, and honest when we make mistakes, like I do. I do make mistakes, and the learning process is unending. And you know, I learn better and better ways of doing things, and better methods and ways of thinking and conceptualizing things, better ways of training I learn, and I'm constantly modifying and adjusting and developing my understanding of this sport that I have a passion for, figure skating, and I share my findings and my experiences with you on the Moves News and in my videos, and I'm happy to do so. I get very many comments that are very encouraging for me to continue to do what I do, because I hear a lot of people say, "Oh, thank you so much for making this video. I really got a lot out of it, and it really helped me in this and that." And so, yeah, well, thank you for tuning in. And I would encourage you, anybody out there who has either a criticism or a compliment, or wants to add something to what I say on these videos, I would encourage you, please leave your comments. Okay, that's it for today. Bye-bye.